You're making $70,000 a year, so why are you still broke? On paper, $70,000 a year sounds like a good salary. It should be enough to pay your bills, enjoy your life, and still save something for the future. But that is not what happens for millions of Americans. Your paycheck arrives, you pay rent, cover a few bills, and make some ordinary purchases. Then, before the month is even over, your bank balance is already dangerously close to zero. And the most confusing part is that you cannot point to one major purchase that caused it. You did not buy a luxury car. You did not take an expensive vacation. You may not even consider yourself a big spender. So where is your money actually going? The answer is not simply your rent, taxes, or occasional Amazon order. The real leak is usually much quieter, and it grows every time your income increases. It is called lifestyle inflation. When you earn more, your spending slowly rises to match your new salary. You upgrade your apartment, finance a better car, order food more often, and collect subscriptions you barely use. Every decision feels small and affordable on its own, but together, they can consume your entire raise. That is how someone can move from earning $45,000 to earning $70,000 and still feel exactly as broke as before. You are making more money, but you are also maintaining a more expensive lifestyle. And there is another problem. Your brain is surprisingly bad at noticing small, repeated purchases. A $7 coffee feels harmless. A $15 lunch feels harmless. A $30 delivery order feels harmless. But when those purchases repeat throughout the month, they can quietly become hundreds or even thousands of dollars a year. In this video, we are going to follow a typical $70,000 salary from gross income to take-home pay. We will identify the invisible expenses draining it and explain why traditional budgeting often fails. Most importantly, you will learn a simple system to control lifestyle inflation, automate your savings, and finally keep more of the money you earn. Because earning $70,000 is not necessarily the problem. The problem is what happens to it after payday. You're $70,000 a year. On paper, it is a solid milestone. You think it's the number where the bills are paid, life is comfortable, and you are finally putting away money for the future. But then the 25th of the month rolls around. You check your bank balance, and instead of a comfortable cushion, you are looking at a number so low, you wonder where everything went. It almost never comes down to one massive catastrophic emergency. Instead, your paycheck is slowly drained by a collective tiny financial leaks, compounding with a trap called lifestyle inflation. As your income grows, your standard of living creeps up right alongside it. You get a raise, move to a nicer apartment, finance a newer car, and add more subscriptions. None of those upgrades seem unreasonable on their own, but put together, they swallow your entire raise. You are bringing in more cash, but you are just funding a more expensive version of living paycheck to paycheck. Before seeing that $70,000, taxes and benefits, cut your monthly take-home pay to $4,500. Subtract $1,700 for rent, a $500 car payment, insurance, and gas. Housing and transportation erase nearly 60% of usable income. Groceries, utilities, and debt take another $1,000. You are now left with less than $1,000. And that tiny remainder is supposed to cover your savings, emergencies, travel, gifts, repairs, and every random expense that pops up during the month. This is exactly where the cognitive trap springs. When you buy a $7 coffee or a $15 lunch, your brain evaluates that single purchase and decides it's not a threat to your remaining cash. The math of frequency is what turns these small purchases into a serious drain. Buying 5 coffees a week, 4 lunches, and a couple of delivery orders can easily swallow $600 a month. You barely remember spending the money because no single choice felt emotionally significant. Your brain measures the impact of each swipe individually, but your bank account absorbs their devastating collective blow. This pattern of invisible spending extends to your recurring background expenses. The music subscription, the extra cloud storage, and the unused gym membership pull hundreds of dollars from your account while you aren't looking. The goal isn't to force you to stop drinking coffee or enjoying your life. Deliberately spending money on something you value is great. The danger is unconscious spending, losing hundreds of dollars a month on things that give you no memorable joy at all. This unconscious drain scales up to our biggest purchases too, thanks to a psychological trap called the hedonic treadmill. When you get that raise and move into the nicer apartment or buy the newer car, the excitement fades quickly. You adapt. The new standard of living simply becomes normal to you. But the elevated rent, The higher insurance and the costly maintenance remain permanent obligations. You run faster just to stay in the exact same place. Your higher income doesn't generate wealth. It just fuels a heavier machine, turning what should be financial progress into permanent financial anxiety. Breaking this cycle starts with visibility. For the next 14 days, you need to track every single dollar you spend. Don't try to change your behavior or attach yourself. You are simply collecting raw data to make the invisible spending visible. You must be highly specific. Do not lump anything into a category called miscellaneous. That exact category is the hiding place for the spending patterns you desperately need to identify. At the end of those 2 weeks, divide your expenses into 3 groups: needs, wants, and financial goals. Under this framework, ideally, half of your take-home pay covers your needs, 30% goes to wants, and 20% funds your savings and debt repayment. Use this framework as a diagnostic tool. When your needs consume 70% of your income, cutting out lattes won't fix the math. You have to reduce a major fixed cost, like housing or transportation. But if your fixed costs are fine and your wants consistently hit 50%, your daily micro decisions are the primary leak. Generic budgeting advice is useless until you pinpoint exactly where the math breaks down. Once you correctly identify the specific category bleeding your income, you can apply the right structural fix. Now, you need a system that does not depend on human willpower. If you plan to save whatever money happens to be left over at the end of the month, you will fail. There is almost never anything left. You have to automate your savings the exact day you get paid. Transfer the money toward your financial goals before you even have the chance to consciously see it or spend it. Next, move a fixed amount into a completely separate account strictly for variable spending. This isolates your lifestyle cash, so you can spend guilt-free on restaurants and entertainment without microanalyzing every transaction. Because once that account gets low, you know you are approaching your limit. Finally, you have to protect your future self from the hedonic treadmill. When you get your next raise, immediately route half of that new money directly to your investments or debt repayment before it ever touches your lifestyle budget. Earning $70,000 a year does not guarantee you financial peace. Your salary only dictates how much money enters your life. It is your intentional automated systems that determine how much of it actually stays. Making $70,000 a year doesn't guarantee financial freedom. Keeping and managing your money does. Track your spending, control lifestyle inflation, and automate your savings before your next paycheck disappears. Your salary sets the limit, but your financial habits determine your future. Download the resources related to video from the link below in the description.